Welcome to another episode of Invest Smarter. We're going to be looking at the properties that came onto the market today for multifamily. First, like always, just quick, synopsis of what you're looking at. If you're looking at this on your computer or on TV, on the top part, we're going to have the statistics on the live MLS feed. On the right-hand side, we're going to have the calculator. If at any point you guys have any questions, please drop it in the comments. Let me know, and I'll make sure if there's a property you want to look at even, I'll make sure to look at it next time that I go live. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's look at the interest rates, because we're going to be using that in order to determine where the properties actually, how the properties perform. And one of the key metrics that we look at when we're looking at properties performing is going to be the interest rate that you borrow, if you don't buy cash, right? Which is the way to go, right? Leverage your money, at least some of it. Try to make your money work for you. So with that being said, as of this Thursday, interest rates on average in the United States are at 6.22. That's for a 30-year fixed rate loan. Okay, let's take a quick look at the market in South Florida specifically. And this is the one that I like to look at the most. Just keep an eye on it, keep a pulse on it. You could check in every single day and keep a pulse on it yourself. How many properties came onto the market in the last 7 days, and how many had either price decreases or price increases? And in this case, guys, you could see there were more price decreases than properties coming onto the market, period. Another way that I like to think of this is that every single house basically that's coming onto the market now, right? They're seeing price decreases. It's basically the seller getting slapped down and being told, you know what, like the property is not worth what you thought it was going to be worth. And this is, if you think about it, going on for a year. Most listing agreements are going to be for at least a year, maybe 6 months, right? But it means that like in very recent times, in less than a year, sellers thought that they could be getting X amount of money for their homes, and they're really not. Which means one thing, that there's deals to be had, there's negotiations being had. That's why you're seeing price decreases. Back in 2021, back in 2020, it was quite the opposite. We were having price increases all of the time. And then it was quite inverse. Like this bar looked like this one, and this one looked like that one. It's a different world today. And this is truly in some parts of South Florida and Miami-Dade, you're having 25 months worth of supply of inventory, where a strong buyer's market is normally like 5 to 10 months supply of inventory. You have 25 months of absurdly strong buyer's market. And that's why people think that there's a bubble in the condo market in South Florida. But guess what? There's not a bubble of, at least in my opinion, and that's going to be multifamily homes, because there's got to be affordable housing for people to live in. They're not going to be able to live in these crazy condos, okay? But they are going to be looking for duplexes, and that's where we're going to be doing our homework, and we're trying to find the deals as soon as they come onto the market. I was thinking about doing this maybe once a week, but in reality is that by the time that I analyze something on a Sunday, if it hit the market on Monday, there's no way that you're going to be able to get that deal. It's probably going to be under contract already. So we're doing this live every single day, guys. Let's look at the properties that actually hit the market today. We're going to come down here. We're going to look at new multis in the last 24 hours. Whoops. Here we go. And all right, there's 2 properties that hit the market today. So it'll be a short one today, guys. I like to sort by square foot. They're basically the same, right? Both again in Miami-Dade County. Let's start with the first one, $515,000. Let's put that into our calculator. 515. Taxes. They're paying very low taxes, guys. Mind you, your lender, if you borrow to purchase this property, might use these taxes, but you would probably see about $10,000 more per year in taxes if you bought at this price point. All right, square feet, it's not that big. It's 1,534, so it might be like two bedroom, 1 bath apartments. And let's take a look at the rents. Obviously, these are not the rents. If these were the rents, this would be a steal. Let's take the pictures first. Okay, it looks like shit. All right, not that great. Let's look at the deal itself, guys. Let's look into the guts of it. So they say duplex, located just 5 minutes away from the beach in a highly desirable area, property needs TLC. No kidding. Where is it? All right, guys, it's in Normandy Drive. Yeah, it's a nice area in Miami Beach. All right, let's take a look. So yeah, it's a 2-1 and a 1-1. Okay, this property might need to get torn down. I don't know. You got to go see it. But let's see if what they're asking for is even reasonable. If we come down here, I basically pulled the prices for all Miami-Dade and Broward, the median prices, right, guys? And so you could see that for a 2-1, the median price is $2,300, okay, in Miami-Dade, and for a 1-1, it's going to be $1,600. Given the condition of this and pricing it at this, right, like saying you're not going to put any more money in it, you're just going to rent it out. If the best case scenario, you could actually get these rents, which I don't know. It looks tough. It might be in a good area, but it looks pretty ghetto. We're going to put $2,300 here for rent 1, and for rent 2, I think it was $1,600. And then rent 3, we're not getting anything. Rent 4, we're not getting anything. Okay, guys. So if you could actually achieve these rents, right, the median rents for a 1-1, for a 2-1, $2,300 and $1,600, this property, you know, it's not the worst property in the face of the earth, right? So it's something that I would say, like, hey, go out and look at it. And that's just because the way that it's at right now, it's a 0.76 on the 1% rule, okay? This DSCR that you see here, that DSCR means, will it pay the mortgage? Will the rents pay the mortgage? And if you buy this with a DSCR loan, which means that you don't even have to show them like how much money you make, it would just be able to, you know, you got to be able to prove how much money the property could make. You could probably get a loan on this, and that's why it's in the green. Because 1.33, if you could prove that this property makes this amount of money, a bank will lend you money, right? And you would probably be cash flowing on this property on day one if you buy using a DSCR loan. If you buy using FHA, you know, you would be cash flowing after 8.5 years, right? But then the difference with FHA, which is great because it allows you to get in the game, right? You could buy this property for $18,000. I mean, like, where else are you going to be able to do that, right? 18 grand gets you in the door. You start cash flowing after 8.5 years, right? And if you buy this using FHA, at the end of the day, look at this, guys. The amount of wealth that this property could create, even if you buy cash or you buy FHA, at the end of the day, you're going to be creating almost the same amount of wealth, right? Than if you bought cash, right? At the end of the day, if you buy this using FHA, you will get a return on your investment of 67.5 times your investment. That's like a 6,570% return on your investment, right? It's ridiculous. So the power of using leverage. But again, this is something that you guys want to go look at because they only give us one picture. You want to see the condition of the home, talk to your real estate agent and see. But for us, in terms of this property, analyzing it, this is a close. Okay, it's not a fail, it's a close. And we're going to look at 2 properties today. So there's that. Let's look at our next one, guys. So, okay, so we have one more duplex. This one is listed at $500,000. That's what they want for it. Taxes, a little bit more realistic to what you would end up paying here, $8,471. It's a small duplex, 1,300 square feet. It might be 2 2-1s or 2 1-1s, better yet. Let's take a quick look at the pictures. Shaker cabinets. All right, the floors aren't terrible. I'm not a fan of this stuff here, but you know, you do see that in Miami from time to time. All right, there's room for improvement. Jesus. Definitely room for improvement there. All right, yep. Whoa, geez. Those floors look not too hot. Seen better days. But you could probably like fix them up. All right. Yeah, so it's a fixer, but not a terrible one, right? Let's look. So they say that there's 2 2-1s. 2 2-1s, guys. And if it's 2 2-1s and each one could get on an average $2,300, right? This would make this property a pretty good property to take a look at. Again, when you, right, a lot of people, like if this is your first time buying an investment property, you might look at this and you say, Andres, that property looks like trash, man. I mean, apart from the first two pictures, who wants to live there? But this is where investment makes sense, because you got to go in there and you gotta do something. If they sold you a package that was just beautiful, it was immaculate, it was turnkey, right? You were ready to rent it the day after you purchased it. This purchase price would be a lot higher, guys. It would be a lot higher. So the question for you guys is going in here and saying, okay, like it kind of looks like trash. The bathroom is not like unsalvageable. Like it's got good little bones here. You could paint that bathtub perhaps, right? The shaker cabinets are already, put in there. Could you like kind of like refurbish those wood floors? That would be great. If you can't, then what's some cheap stuff that you could put over it. That's like porcelain, like a tile kind of floors. How much would it cost you to fix this? Put central AC in there. I don't know. Let's say it costs you guys 1,300 square feet. Let's say it costs you guys another like $80,000. So like you're up at 580. Okay. Even at 580, it's not a bad deal, right? If you have to put $80,000 into this property, you probably need a new roof. So let's say it's 600. Well, not 60,000, 600. Right? So it's still not a terrible deal. Something worth taking a look at, guys. Because what if it does have a new roof? What if you could do this yourself? What if you could negotiate the price, and now you're closer to the $500,000 original asking price, and that's how much you're going to end up spending? Then, guys, you're almost at a 1% rule kind of a property, right? If you bought this using a DSCR loan, you would get financing for this right away, and you would cash flow on day one, right? You could even buy this with a conventional 20% down payment, right here, guys, and you would cash flow on day one. If you bought this using FHA, and you would only need about 17.5 grand to get into this deal, you would be cash flowing after less than 6 years, right? And mind you, guys, if interest rates were to go down, like let's say to what they were just like 3 weeks ago, 5.98, right? Now you're cash flowing in 5 years exactly, right? And it's still a great property. So for that, I give this property another. It's close. It's very close. I would say it's almost a go get it, but it's definitely a go call your real estate agent and find out more information about this house. You're gonna want to do that. So for our second property today, it's another close. Guys, this is what's on the market today. Let me know if you guys have any questions about it, and I'll see you tomorrow.